I'm David Kogan. My business is DKP Image and Media in Chicago. I've been struggling with healthcare issues my entire life, business-wise. All being an independent businessman, it's virtually impossible to buy insurance. If you don't have a big group, the premiums are huge. The restrictions on pre-existing illnesses make it difficult because there's hardly anybody without some sort of illness that they won't insure for one reason or another. I've been doing this since 1976. It hasn't changed. It's only gotten worse. It has changed. It's continuous. It never ends. It's always in the back of your mind. If business goes bad, you have no health insurance. If your wife gets laid off, she has no health insurance. If your child has asthma, you can't write a policy. So I need health care. I need health care insurance reform now.
My name is Nancy Nord. I am self-employed. My company is Nancy Nord Design. It feels to me with insurance that nothing is covered. I know that if I have a catastrophic illness or accident that will be covered. But when you go into the hospital or into your doctor's offices, you have to, even before you agree to have something done, you have to find out if it's covered or not. Because your doctor can recommend it, but with some policies, which I've had in the past, if you don't have that service done in her office, then it's not covered, even though it's in the same hospital. Every 5 years, I reapply for insurance, and one time I applied with Blue Cross Blue Shield. They turned me down because I had marriage counseling. That was considered a bad thing for health insurance. I am now with Blue Cross and Blue Shield, but a lot of things aren't covered with things that doctor recommends. Say, for instance, a colonoscopy if you're over 50. I know if I go get it, I would have to pay for all of that. And being self-employed, I don't always have a steady income. I can't count on having $2,000 bills from the hospital or the doctor that I can pay them. So I have to think about what I get, because you go and you apply for new insurance and you get these booklets, and in these booklets for me it's not clear. What does it cover? What doesn't it cover? There's all these. It's 80% here, 100% coverage there, but in this case it's something else. And how do I know what's going to happen to me in the future? I can't guess. Health insurance is a scary thing.
Apply to all of the insurance companies that provide coverage in the state of Illinois, including AARP, and found that because of my preconditions, I was continuously getting rejected. The frightening part was that I myself am extremely healthy and work out and very conscious of it, but my preconditions are all factors of heredity. My mother, who has osteoporosis and a thyroid condition, high cholesterol, all put me at risk, and therefore none of the insurance companies wish to insure me. The culmination was one company that finally agreed to insure me as long as they do not cover any of my prescription medication, and that I have a $2,500 deductible, along with a payment on my part of over $700 a month that needs to be automatically deducted by them from my checking account. They won't send me a bill, they won't let me pay it any other means than them doing that deduction. And I found out that I got this coverage within days before the end of April, and could have wound up actually in that void space of having nothing, and then wouldn't have been even able to have gotten this insurance. The frightening thing for me is that I am healthy, and yet by certain contributing factors beyond my control, insurance companies have made determinations that are not truthfully justified by any medical records of mine or any doctors that they chose to interview. And in fact, many of the companies, Aetna being one, didn't even get to look at my records from interview process. They just took baseline information and rejected me. What scares me is what happens to others who can't afford the $700 premium a month while being unemployed, or has prescriptions that need to be filled monthly and find themselves financially incapable of buying them, having to make a choice of medication or food or housing. When we have representatives in the government who are so spoiled, and many of them my age, and many of them with preconditions, but because they are government employees, none of these issues affect them, and they just don't have a clue. And I'm scared. I'm scared that if what happens, God forbid, I were to get sick, I got cold, I had to go to the doctor for some kind of issue that were to arise, does that mean that in a year they will review my policy and determine that they won't cover me any longer? And if the economy stays the way it is and getting a job with coverage stays as difficult to come by as possible, what's going to happen to me? And so I fear every single day to be overcome by some kind of sickness, illness, accident that I just don't have any control over.